About this. I don't curse, man. So, cause I don't curse, bro. So I'm gonna just say, for the lack of word that I would say if I curse, I'm gonna say I'm here to talk about this pork right here. This pork. You know what I'm saying? You know what, if you know what pork is, then you know this pork right here, right? Um, and before I even get started, man, before I even get started of going in on him, I want to let it be known right now, bro. See, you liberal, black, woke Negroes, you internet revolutionary Negroes who want a hug. That's all y'all want. Y'all want a hug from the white man so bad. So when they got pork, identity crisis having people like this individual on the screen come across y'all, and he worshipped y'all, he paid draft behind the scene, y'all just let him in the culture. Put some design on, put some diamonds on his teeth or around his neck, and you Negroes just let him in the culture. And the reason why y'all do that, once again, all y'all want is that hug. All y'all want is to be validated by a white person. Don't matter what they look like. Don't matter if they have a mental illness like this individual here, because he don't even know who he is. Look at it. Look at this dude, bro. But of course we know, cause we know, he paying draft behind the scene, right? We know everything on him, and we know that he worships niggas. He worships them. So people like that, the liberal black, because all he wants is a hug. This is the type of dude they will easily just let in the culture. Like I said, all he got to do is the few things, as a checklist. Put some design on, put some diamonds on, worship them, and pay draft behind the scenes. Everything on him. And let me show you something. Like I say, everybody know a Wigga White Boy like this here. Everybody know. Everybody, especially dude from the hood, y'all know a Wigga White Boy like this here. A white boy who will try to out nigga you. You know? And you could clearly see, especially if you've been to places where I've been, you've been to prison, you've been in the streets. Individuals like this, sometimes they getting turned out in prison, but they always the weakest one. They the ones who strong dudes see, strong black dudes see, and we see the mental illness identity crisis that they having. So we'll send them on missions. We call them duck missions. You know what? Coming up, one of my best friends, one of the most dudes that I had the most love for, he took his own life in 2018. Um, was a white boy. Me and this guy was good friends from the age of 13 until he took his life. Um, this was a white boy. He was a white boy who did white boy stuff. He wasn't trying to. He didn't have identity crisis. He never used the N word not one time. Even though, be honest with you, nobody would have tripped, because once I had brought him to the hood, and I had went to deal a little bit in prison, and you know everybody just took to him because he was like a real dude. He wasn't trying to be nothing that he wasn't, and he was accepted for that, and he was treated with respect because people respected him for the simple fact that he was who he was, no matter where he was, who he was around. He was him. He never changed. He didn't have no identity crisis. R.I.P. Core. Matter of fact, in my bio, he's one of the people that I dedicate this channel to. But the reason why I made this video about this pork right here, quote unquote, they call him 1090 Jake. What a joke. Um, he always, quote unquote, trying to call himself, because once again, he was let into the culture, right? They let this Wigga White Boy into the culture. And so now, because they didn't let him in the culture, you could tell what kind of dude he is. He one of the dudes who saying the N word is just like a superpower to him, right? When he because it makes it, and it's not a racial thing, but it makes him feel like he black, which is he not, and he'll never be respected as such. He know that, right? They don't respect him, and he know they don't respect him. But the facade of what he doing behind the scenes, to make him seem like he a guy. That's all he need because he has mental illness called identity crisis. You know, we all go through phases in life, but once you get to the age of 25 and older, especially 30, I don't know how old this dude is. He look like he about 40. And you still have an identity crisis. There's no longer an identity crisis. There's a mental illness. But anyway, this is why I made the video. This is what really pissed me off. They got a rapper in Florida by the name of Boston Richie. He blew up over the last couple of years. He doing a real big thing. And let me show you some of these rappers. A lot of these rappers, most of these rappers, all of these rappers, they cut a lot of lights on for people. And what I mean by cut a lights on for people, there's a lot of people in their circle and connected to their circle that's eating strictly off of them. So if anything happened to them, happened to their name, happened to their street cred as a rapper, it can slow or stop the money flow for that person and all the people around. And so this guy here digs up paperwork on Boston Richie where he was supposedly had told on somebody or whatnot. And this didn't hurt Boston Richie's career, but it did dose it a little bit. But he's so hot, he putting so much for good material that he overcame that situation. We seen that with Rick Ross when a lot of things came out about him. He was able to put so much good content out, good product, until it overrode something that he did in his past. And the Rick Ross situation is way different because, like I always tell people, nobody know the details of that. Rick Ross is from Miami. Rick Ross had ties with the Cocaine Cowboys. Eddie Falcon on his track saying how much respect he got for Rick Ross. And Eddie Falcon wouldn't have did that just for no clout. Those Latinos is not about that. You know, Eddie Falcon was one of the Cocaine Cowboys, helped build the Miami skyline. He don't have nothing to lose or nothing to gain by saying that about Rick Ross. So you never know what Rick Ross was a CO for. Rick Ross could have been, because he was trapping. You know what I'm saying? You could hear certain rappers when they rap about certain things. If you from the street and you understand street lingo, you know that some rappers just rapping and some rappers rapping where they really live. And Rick Ross, and I'll go to bed in this. I'll put money on this. I don't have proof of it, but I'll put money. That Rick Ross really was in them streets. Rick Ross really did street stuff. And the situation of him being a CEO, I always tell people, nobody know the details. He could have been plugged in with a cartel, got hired by them to go in the jail and infiltrate and, and make moves in the jailhouse. And if you've been in prison, you know what I mean. Getting cell phones. Or maybe back then cell phone was too big, but getting drugs and getting things, he could have been an inside guy. He was going to college playing football. He was hustling on the side, and he might have had a plug, and they might have liked him and trusted him. And you never know the situation. Nobody knows that. Only thing that I said hurt Rick Ross is him lying about it. But he know that was gonna hurt his rap career. But like I said, it put a little dose on his flame. But he was able to overcome that. And just like Boston Richard, he was able to overcome with this pork on the screen put out about him. But like I said, the issue with what he do is when you doing this to these individuals, bro, that got all this power and helping a lot of black people, you know what I'm saying? Boston Richard helped a lot of black people that he connected to, people that connect to them people. It's a whole web around these rappers when they blow up because there's so much money going around and circulate. They feed a lot of people, believe it or not. And so they got another guy from Atlanta named QC COP. So he comes out with some so-called paperwork about P ratted on a dude and got dude 20 years and all this and all that. Now P not a rapper, but he's a record executive. He's the guy who brought out Lil Yachty, the Migos, Lil Baby. He the guy who brought all them out along with Coach K. So now, being that he come out and said this about P, it can't really damage P because P not a rapper, but it could. You never know. You just never know the damage that it could do. The support that maybe you just never know. And my thing is, what are you doing this for? What are you doing this for? And it's so, and it really bothers me, man. It really bothers me about white boys like this, Wigga White. The reason why it bothers me about Wigga White Boys, and why it bothered me about how these Negroes, these liberal Negroes, just let them in the culture. See, let me show you something about 1090 Jake. 1090 Jake. Nah, this don't always be. Some of them clowns, they just go to their grave trying to be something they not. But you know what? A lot of them do. They do go through their little phase and get all these tattoos and be street and gangster. But guess what? Believe it or not, whether you want to accept it or not, 1090 Jake got an uncle, it's maybe his father, a grandfather, somebody in 1090 Jake own a company, own a corporation or something, and he could always go get those tattoos removed and completely change his life. And the niggas that he deal with, he could just block their number and never think about them again. But guess what? They gonna still be in the hood, doing crime or doing whatever they gotta do to take care of their family, which they gotta do. He don't now, cause he didn't got rich and went on back to his side, and that's what I don't respect about it. Black people, we don't have a choice to be in this lifestyle. Now we have a choice to be in the lifestyle of the street. We got a choice by that, and some people it's hard to get out of that. Cause like I said in the video a couple of days ago, you get in the street as a young buck. Whether you been a follower or whether your daddy wasn't around and you just chose the street to get a few extra dollars to help mama, you get one charge, and not nobody want to hire you when you do come home from doing your prison bid. Nobody want to hire you these days. The fast food people don't even want to hire you. They doing background checks at fast food now. They never used to do that. They telling you can't work at fast food now for tattoos. So you make one mistake, it's over for you, black man. And guess what, black man? Ain't nobody care about your story, like I told you once before. And I said that in another video on my Message to the Black Man series. No one cares about you, black man. No one cares about your story, how you came up, what you went through. No one cares. But going back to this clown right here, so he comes out with some paperwork, and this is what I always said about this white boy, this Wigga White Boy. It's something that gonna come out about him, if he gonna end up dead, but it's something gonna come out about him. And so it's some kind of skeletons he got in his closet. And Whack 100, people say whatever they want about Whack 100. I like Whack 100 because he is like the big dog in the rap game when it comes to speaking things that everybody else want to say, but they scared to say. Whack won't say it. And Whack came out, because Whack up there with all of them. Whack came out and said, what about your snitch allegation? And he started to get tongue-tied. He couldn't really say nothing. But Whack called him out for what he is. He's a modern day, I think he said clamming, but I don't like to use a clam and all that stuff dealing with race, but he's a modern day clamming or whatever you want to call him, because that's what he do. He take the black man that he want to be, because that's who he want to be. If he could die and come back black, he would. So he take the black man who doing good and go dig up some dirt on them to make them look bad for no reason but some views on some goddamn YouTube channel and some clout. 1090 the paperwork god, man. 1090 a clout chasing Wigga White Boy flunky. So this is the response P gave this clown. I see that 300 million, because that's so-called what he called himself, 300 million. Got all them niggas hating back home, talking about in Atlanta. Anybody know me know my character. Our culture so effed up, it's sad. Y'all living this imaginary street dream. I'm changing lives and changing my family curse. See what I'm saying? This man helping people, his family, people connected to his family, connected in the whole connection. And here it is, this Wigga White Boy speaking on business that's going on in our community, whether it's right or wrong. You ain't got nothing to say about it unless it is affecting you. I don't got no love for no Negro that try to kill me or mine. I ain't in the street, never wanted to be. I played the hand I was dealt and made something out of it. Y'all bum A niggas should do the same. Stop glorifying dumb stuff. R.I.P. to my dog Q. An innocent man with 5 kids who lost his life to a bum A nigga who didn't value his own. I'm a goat. Don't ever confuse me with a rat. Now take that fraudulent incident report and stick it up y'all butt. I love my freedom, so stop playing with me. So now what we're going to do, we're going to listen to the response, the back and forth with the white boy, Wigga White Boy, 1090 Jake, and the great Whack 100. I love Whack 100 because he be putting these niggas in their place, saying what need to be said that everybody else scared to say. It's pathetic, man. 1090 Jake. 1090 pork. Straight pork. Can't say what I want to say because I don't curse.
And see what I can find. Maybe it's tucked away, maybe it's sealed, maybe it's whatever, whatever. It took me less than 15 minutes and like $30 to get every single fucking document in the case.
Man, that's crazy. So how do you feel about his response today? Saying that, basically like, he ain't no street nigga, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, that's what I said in the video, and that's what I was telling Remo. I was like, all he got to do is say I wasn't in the streets. If he's a businessman and all he's doing is business, and he was the victim of a crime, I don't see what anybody's gonna, have a problem with. But if he was in the streets and he was doing this, that, and the third, which they're alleging he was, then I'm guessing that he would get held to some type of code. You know what I mean? But I don't know, bro, because I done looked it up, and he got some charges in his history. He got aggravated assault. He's got shooting charges. He's got a shooting case from 2007. But none of his criminal cases, none of the paperwork is there that I could see for whatever reason. Now, in certain states, I think Florida, they didn't start digitally recording paperwork, I think, until 06 or 07. So I don't know if it's the same in Atlanta and they just don't have his cases. But none of his criminal cases were available when I ran his name.
So a lot of people feel like, what makes you qualified to be exposing?
What makes anybody qualified?
For sure. For sure.
Like, I didn't know, like, what do we got to go through, a fucking application and get street approval? Like, who decides that? The motherfucker that knows how to Google this shit and get the paperwork is the one that's qualified to speak on it.
Yo, 1090, so what happened with that you ratted on? What was the end result of that?
You ain't right on nobody.
Come on, bro. What you talking about for real now? Nah, for real, like, let's talk about
for real. What are you talking about?
That's whack.
The ratting, bro.
What ratting?
So now you gonna act like you don't know?
I'm just saying,
blog
you
on
acting
everybody
like you know. You acting like you know. Cause
you don't know what's going
on Instagram, I told you to make a call. Because they made a
blood
call.
out your mouth. Let's talk about your rat. I want to talk about your rat. I want to talk about.
So what
I see you as a motherfucking modern day Klansman that's trying to tear down black people. Our business ain't your business. But let's talk about it. Let's show. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, boy. Boy now. You the fucking boy. It's been reversed. So I'm going to ask you about, look, if we going to talk about everything, your rat can come first. So let's talk about clear up your rat. Can we talk about your rat, yes or no?
So where the paperwork?
Your allegations are rat.
Where the paperwork?
Are we gonna talk about your ratting?
Where the
paperwork? If we can talk about your motherfucking rat, you little bitch. Don't come in here and talk about no black man on no platform. You little bitch. Take your motherfucking ass over there. Take your ass over there to the Ed Sullivan show. Shut your bitch ass up. Sit down, motherfucker, to you. You little fuck motherfucker. Now let's talk about your rat. Listen, you content. Welcome to Clubhouse, nigga. You don't run nothing over here. Sit down and shut the fuck up, nigga. Welcome to Hip Hop Trends, where we check these top motherfuckers, nigga. Exclusive motherfucker, with motherfucking Rockstar 2800, a power root banging phone. And keep blood out your mouth. Rockstar, east side, west up, I'm out.
You gotta do anything to go viral.
About it, I'ma just.
As you seen right there, Whack 100 put him in his place. And of course, he tried to do a little lip wrestling with Whack 100, of course. But eventually, he started being quiet because, let me show you something about these type of dudes like these white boys like here. I'm going to show you another thing about them. They ain't by no trouble. I ain't saying they won't shoot nothing, but for the most part, they ain't by no trouble. Because that lip wrestling that he did do, if he was in Whack 100 present, he'd have been quiet. He might have tried to defend himself and say, well, can you show me the paperwork? But he'd have been quiet. And all that wiggle would have came out of him, and he'd have went back to Billy, or whatever his name is. Timmy, whatever his name is. Jake, that's his name, Jake. He'd have went back to little Jakey. Right? But like I said, man, I'm about to close this video, man. But this to you liberal niggas, man. This to you black wokey wokes, you internet revolutionaries who always want to holler about BLM this, BLM that. But when y'all go to the BLM ride, y'all got the white people out there. Man, go mind y'all business, bro. Because you liberal whites, bro, listen, bro. Y'all part of the problem too, and he one of them. And once again, the reason why I bring that up is because the liberal white worships the black man and the black woman, validates them, ponders to them. So, it, and what they do that for is for acceptance. And the blacks so stupid and so weak and don't have a strong culture to the point where they just accept anything. Oh, for real? Yeah, you right, son. You could say something like you got this dude on there talking about, yeah, so but I'm glad how the dude did put that question in what qualifies you, and he come with the stupid stuff about go Google them white boys who rat. That's what you stay in your lane. Now if a nigga ratted on you, you got the right to speak on it. If Boston Richie or QCP ratted on you, 1090 pork, 1090 Jake, you got all right to speak on it. But if they didn't, man, shut up, bro, and stay in your lane. Like you say, go on the Ann Sullivan show, whatever that is. Stay in your lane, bro, before you end up getting yourself in some situation that you can't get out of. Because them dudes that's around you, bro, they just around you because, once again, all you got to do is put some diamonds on, some designer, the black woman going to date you, well, the liberal black woman going to date you, and these liberal Negro going to accept, yeah, he cool, son, man, I'm man. Because what you doing for them behind the scene, paying draft, you got everything. You a lame, man. And lead niggas out. Lead niggas out your mouth. Stay out our business. Let us handle our own issues in our own community, and you handle yours in your community. Because guess what? Everybody in the community got their own issue, but at the end of the day, it's on that particular race to handle what's going on in their community, not nobody else. Unless it affects them. If it affects you, okay, yeah, you got something to say about it. But other than that, let people handle their own business. But like I say, and like Wack 100 say, I really don't like him, bro, because he all he's trying to do is defame and bring down the black man and get paid off it. And these niggas just so lame and want to be cool, and they just want to he's shining, he got a little wave right now, so yeah, we gonna roll with it. Come on, man. Get yourself together, gang. I'm out.